Are you a late bloomer or blooming lately?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hi, welcome to my channel, Epiphany Me TV. My name is Dr. Jazz, and I'm an assistant professor of psychology. My PhD is in educational psychology. However, at my core, I'm a creative at heart, so I love writing and inspiring others about personal development, self-care, and everything else in between. So if you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and share with others if you care, okay? All right, so now, late bloomer or blooming lately? So I know it may sound like I'm asking the same question. However, not quite. I know we probably all heard the saying or the analogy looking at the glass half empty versus looking at the glass half full. So that's exactly what that is. For instance, late bloomer, that's looking at the glass half empty. Blooming lately is looking at the glass half full. It's all about perception. So, where did this come from? The are you a late bloomer versus blooming lately? So, again, if you're new to my channel, I just had a birthday about 2 months ago. I'm now 36. At this age, you see your friends that are building their families, rich kids, building their own families. So it's very easy to fall into that deep rabbit hole of, am I late to my own show? Why don't I have these things just yet? And so it's very easy to kind of get in that downhill cyclical thing like, am I late? What if this never happens? Or why hasn't this happened already? And so it kind of falls into that late bloomer aspect. However, if you look at it from the perspective of, this is my life, my show, how can I be late to something that's uniquely and specifically designed for me? So, looking at your life as your own unique path, you can't be late to your own show. Think about it this way, like when you have your birthday. For me, I'm the late friend in the group. So I'm usually kind of late to events. So I'm getting a little bit better. Don't judge, don't judge. But I'm usually that person that's late to events. However, if you notice, when your birthday rolls around, we all get a pass for that day. Like, you're the birthday. You deserve or you get a pass on being late for your own birthday. So I like to apply that same analogy to your life. You're the birthday. It's all about you. It's your path, your unique trajectory. And so who's to say that you're late with marriage, late with getting a degree, late with starting the business, or whatever it might be? It's your unique path, so you can't be late to your own show. And so another thing that doesn't help contribute to a better mindset around things blooming in your own time is, of course, society. Like social media, we see these trends. It was the most recent trend around women who are having babies in their 30s, their late 30s to early 40s. There was this sound bite, this trend going around where the woman is crying, saying like,
what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be all at the graduation. They gonna be like, your grandma's here. They gonna be like, that's my mom.
so of course things like that doesn't help as well. Seeing these things in society about, what a woman should have or where she should be, for attributing like our success as a woman is to, well, are you married? Do you have kids yet? You can have all these degrees, all these accolades, you don't have the marriage and the family. We get this message within society, within media, that you're still not living up to your true womanness or what validates womanhood. So of course those messages that we receive through society doesn't help as well. But I want to try to help you reframe your thinking. So again, going back to that late bloomer versus blooming lately. Okay, so thinking about it in that perspective of looking at the glass half full versus looking at the glass half empty. So that blooming lately aspect is looking at the glass half full. And then being a late bloomer is looking at the glass half empty. Most recently, I was talking with a life coach of mine. He was asking the thing about, why aren't you a life coach? I started going down this list of, well, I'm not married, I'm still single. How can I tell somebody else about their marriage I don't have kids, and I just kept going down the I can't or I don't have, or I haven't met this criteria in life yet. And he stopped me and he said, all I hear you saying is what you don't have, what it is you have yet to accomplish. He said, but just from the short time I've known you, you've accomplished quite a great few things. He said, so lean into that. Even though psychology is my background, I do fall short in that aspect as to where sometimes you don't even realize how you can be your biggest self-critic sometimes. And so when he pointed that out, it helped me realize like I'm really speaking from like a negative mind frame, what I'm lacking as opposed to what I do have and what I have accomplished. So that's what I want to encourage you to think about. Think about the things you have completed, the things you have accomplished in life. What gifts do you already have? Who do you show up as a daughter, as a co-worker, supervisor, your mother? Like, how do you show up in the roles that you already have, as opposed to not looking at what you don't yet have? So that drives me to the next part. Like, I always like to give some little tidbits or pointers on how can you operate from the mindset of blooming lately. You have to already have in the mindset, I'm still blooming. So switching it from that late bloomer to I'm blooming lately. I'm still blooming. I'm blooming in my own time. I'm blooming in God's time. Blooming in the time that is unique to my life. That's why there's only one you. So looking at it as I'm still blooming, but blooming in my own time. So for point 1, inspecting what you've already done. Who are you already? From an abundant mindset. So not from the lacking mindset that I gave the example of that I was operating in, but from an abundant mindset. What is it that you already have? What gifts do you already operate in? Who are you at your core? What is it that makes you smile? What makes you uniquely you? And write out all of those characteristics, all of those traits. Give yourself your flowers. So point number 2, I want you to write it out. Okay, so I'm a firm believer in making the vision, writing it out, make it plain and clear. If you're a believer in Christ, if you have God at the center of your life, I believe that if you write it out and you make it known of what it is that you want, and if it's in His will for your life, then it will come into fruition. And again, like I said, it's way easier said than done. As a woman who's in her now later 30s, and there are things I'm still waiting on. I'm still waiting on the marriage. I'm still waiting on the family. There's still some things I want to accomplish career-wise. But having that hope that if it's in God's will, it's going to still show up in my life somehow. But just making it plain, making that vision plain and clear, and being specific about what it is that you want. Have those conversations with God, those candid conversations where it's like you're talking with a friend. Then my last point number 3, give yourself grace. Giving yourself grace for things to show up in its own time. Again, your life is designed uniquely for you. Your life, you're the birthday. You're the birthday. It's about you. Again, you can't be late to your own show. You can't be late to something that was designed specifically with you in mind. Going back to point number 1, looking at the things you have accomplished. Where do you shine bright? So going back to that point number 1 and then bringing it back to 3, giving yourself that grace. And kind of operating off the same sentiment as Toni Morrison once said, you are your best thing. Leaning into giving yourself grace requires you to look at you are your best thing. You are the best thing that could have ever happened to you. Before anyone else shows up, before that next career promotion shows up, business avenue, you're already your best things. All right, so I hope you all are able to walk away from this video with something. So again, I want to leave this video with asking you the question I asked at the beginning. Are you a late bloomer or are you blooming lately? All right, so think about it. Leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts, your perspectives on this topic, and share if you like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.